This little geography video is all about landforms of erosion. So we're going to start with waterfalls. Okay, so in this case, we're going to start from A and go through to D. Waterfalls occur where we have a harder, more resistant rock like granite overlying a softer, less resistant rock like sandstone. So over time, the erosion processes, okay, like hydraulic action, that's the shear force of the water, that will erode an over deepened area at the base of the waterfall, which is called a plunge pool. Okay, the other processes that will be working in there will be things like abrasion, where rocks flow down in the river water, get stuck in the plunge pool, get swirled around and crack bits off at the base of the plunge pool. Over time, what that will do is create an overhang, okay, because the water will erode the softer, less resistant rock like sandstone, and that will undercut the hard rock above. Eventually, that will collapse, okay, and will be further weakened by erosion and weathering, and is pulled down by the force of gravity. And what that means is we've got the collapsed rock that can be used as even greater abrasive tools, and the waterfall will slowly retreat back upstream, and that creates a feature called a gorge. So I've put together a more complex version of that in writing. You can take a look at that when you look at the PowerPoint. Okay, and there's a 3D version there where you can see more clearly the gorge side, so those would be repeated on both sides, but that waterfall there would be eroding backwards upriver to create that gorge. Here you can see one of the a really famous waterfall in the United Kingdom. It's called High Force. It sits on the River Tees. During times of flood, the water is known to create a second waterfall, a bigger waterfall over on this side. But here on the top there, that's a rock, very hard rock known as the Sill. Okay, very hard igneous rock that resists erosion, and that sits on some sedimentary limestone. The limestone's weaker than the Sill, so the limestone erodes into this huge plunge pool and gets undercut and eventually collapses and moves back upstream along the River Tees. Here you can see on the sides, both sides, that steep-sided gorge that's created by that river retreating back upstream. Another feature you might see in waterfalls are potholes, so these rounded holes, and you can see the sediment in there. When the river water's running fast, it swirls the sediment around in the holes, and that over deepens them through the process of abrasion. The other landform of erosion that you need to know about is a V-shaped valley with interlocking spurs. So here you can see the sediments there. I've just animated them. They're being washed about by the river water and abrading downwards into the rock. So upland streams have low energy and they erode down over via abrasion and hydraulic action. So that over deepens the valley, okay, and leaves the steep channel sides unsupported, so they'll be weakened by weathering processes like freeze thaw. Okay, and then bits of that valley side will collapse into the channel and leave you with that classic V shape. When you look at that on a 3D diagram, the rock has various resistances. The river winds its way through different areas. It winds its way in and out. The bits where the rock is linked together like that, we call those interlocking spurs. Okay, you might have little tributary rivers running in as well, and there you can see the V-shaped valley. There's your interlocking spurs. So in terms of tasks, you've got your little PDF textbook. You could read pages 6 to 8. Draw the waterfall diagrams and explain how they form. I've put it clearly with a sequence on. AQA really likes sequenced answers, and then you should really try to get all of these keywords and explain them into your answer. So in each stage, can you explain what's going on in each diagram? Here, I've put this onto the worksheet that's available on the website. You just need to draw little sketch diagrams, what's going on to create these V-shaped valleys. Okay. The last thing I've popped on there, which is a bit of an option, is to draw a sketch diagram. This is a photograph of the River Breamish up in Northumberland. You You could draw a field sketch of the valley. I've shown an example on here of how to do it. So first you'd draw your frame, you'd sketch the outline. So there you can see I've just gone through the major land features, so I'm getting my outline of the landscape. Okay, you could add some detail, so I've just added on a little bit few relief features. Okay, and I've added the river down there, and when you take away the image, that gives you a nice little image. So just last little dad joke time. Okay, where the fish wash? In a drainage basin. See you later. Enjoy your geography.